You would think his mind would be in chaos after that devastation. But he limps out of there and he's like, well, hold on, where's my phone? Okay. Oh, hey, everybody. Thanks, my fans. I just want you to know I wasn't hurt before the fight. I didn't have any kind of injuries before the fight. I felt amazing, 100% coming in here. There was nothing wrong with my leg. All right, sand. Okay, let's go to the hospital. Well, Conor McGregor is definitely going to fight again. And you should probably just accept that right now and save yourself some time. I saw on a video that Ariel Helwani posted some screenshots of Conor putting on social media, hey, everybody, I'm going to go in surgery, and then I'm going to do rehab, and then I'm going to fight again. I got one fight left on my contract. Kind of focusing on the wrong thing right now. Kind of a dumb thing to say at the moment. And I feel like a lot of people in the circumstance are saying some dumb things right now. And I was trying to do my due diligence and put chanclas on the ground. I went and looked at Conor's page and I couldn't find it. Let me know if I'm an ignoramus and it's out there somewhere. I can't find it. I only saw it on Ariel Helwani's page. And then I think Conor took it down. I think maybe someone on his team was like, you put the bomb on? Who told you to put the bomb on? I didn't tell you to put the bomb on. Maybe he was at the doctor's office when he posted it. Maybe he was on that morphine. I don't know. But it's kind of a terrible time when there's all this suspicion about, did the UFC know? Did Conor come in with the pre-existing injury? Is this just a dispute kind of a thing? Is he trying to make him look bad? Is it a betting thing? Is he just trying to get out of his contract? And now he's like, one fight left, one to go. And then I couldn't find it. And I thought maybe he took it down. Maybe they did tell him take it down, which kind of makes it worse, even more suspicious. It's already out there. But here's what you have to understand. And I want to make it clear. I say it in every video I make. I'm not a Conor fanboy. Never been a Conor fanboy. I built this channel on the foundation of talking mad papas about Conor McGregor. My first channel video ever was breaking down Nate Diaz choking that fool out, okay? But I am an MMA truther. And here's what you have to understand about the situation. Because people were saying before, he's not coming back. He's never going to come back. And then he came back. And then they're like, oh, well, you count that as coming back? He didn't come back, and he never will come back again now for sure. Well, you would think he would be in disarray. He'd be embarrassed, humiliated, never want to show his face again. But he's already saying, I only got one left. Let's get ready. And the UFC has to give it to him because he's under contract. They either have to give it to him or they have to let him go. And either way, he gets what he wants. So I think a lot of people are gonna have to let that go. There's a lot of people like really celebrating this right now. Yeah, we're never gonna have to see him again. You will. Now, maybe the UFC, they ain't gonna market it. And that's one of the things that kind of made people suspicious this time around too. Did they know? How come it felt like one of those fights we didn't really know about? It's International Fight Week. How come it seemed like they didn't market it more? How come there wasn't the kind of aura and press around a Conor McGregor event like you think there would be? Maybe they did know. So whatever. Maybe they won't press it. Maybe they won't care. Maybe they'll give him a creative player. Maybe they'll give him someone crazy to embarrass him. Who knows? But they have to give him a fight or let him go, which is what he ultimately wants. So based on what he's saying on social media, it seems, nope, you didn't lose him. He didn't get shamed out of the sport. He has every intention of you seeing him again. And I understand that there's a lot of people out there saying he won't be able to do it. He doesn't have that fight in him anymore. He's too old. He did drugs. He did steroids. Okay? That has nothing to do with a pre-existing injury. By the way, his age, he's like the same age as other people that are current champions right now. And there have been even older champions before. So that has nothing to do with anything. I always say it, age ain't nothing but a number. But that's not relevant right now. His age, steroid use, drugs. You know, you could have all those things at play and you could still get like pink eye, right? You could still strain your elbow. You could get dandruff. You could stub your big toe. You could be a certain age, do drugs, steroids, and still have a meniscus issue, right? And I don't believe it was any of those other things that affected him in here. Because look at all the other people of certain ages. Look at all the drugs and stuff. I mean, look at John Jones. There's people who have thrived and got even past the age of Conor McGregor doing what they're doing, and it doesn't slow them down. It was a pre-existing injury. I know what you're thinking. How was that possible? Getting past the UFC, getting past the commission, you think he got through those kind of hoops? How do you think that he would have been able to do that? Well, fortunately, I have some precedents here for that. Have you ever heard of the name Michael Bisping? Now, I think I could end the video right here. That's a pretty good one. Probably the best one. He went to the title and beyond with one eye. One-eyed Bisping. Fooled the commission. Got right past everybody. Or did he? Or did he? Did they know? How about Luke Rockhold? Coincidentally fought Michael Bisping when he had a torn MCL. What about DJ Dillashaw? He fought Aljamain Sterling Silver with a destroyed shoulder. What about Manny Pacquiao? I know, but it's still sports. Manny Pacquiao, he fought Floyd Mayweather, boxed Floyd Mayweather with a messed up shoulder. And then Bob Arum was later like, yeah, we almost postponed that. I don't know how he got away with that any kind of percussions. Maybe he didn't. I don't remember. How about JDS? He had a torn meniscus when he went in and knocked out Cain Velasquez. And JDS was using crutches in the days leading up to the fight. He was on crutches. What a visual. Days leading up to the fight. Kamaru Usman had knees so bad that he had to walk backwards downstairs. And this was pretty public. Said it on JRE. And I think the most relevant example, Conor McGregor, 80%, 80% tear in his ACL. I'm not talking about meniscus. I'm talking about big boy stuff. 80% tear in his ACL before the Chad Mendes fight. And then you see some of the allowances here and there, some of the weird navigations when it comes to John Jones stuff in the UFC. USADA. Oh, thanks, USADA. We got it from here. Oh, everything's under control. We know exactly what we're doing. We don't need you anymore. What about Tony Ferguson and Colby Covington coming out talking about relationships and dynamics with the UFC, contracts and schedules? You better do what you got to do so you don't fall out of their good graces. You don't want people getting refunds. You don't want to mess up the betting. You got to take matchups that maybe don't make sense on a certain schedule that doesn't make sense. Doesn't matter how you're feeling. This is the kind of stuff that you got to do. Just like Josh Hogan coming into an ecosystem where he got to do this thing that people are then giving him a hard time about. It's Dana White in the UFC that creates this ecosystem. This has been created. There's already a strong precedence for this. All these fighters coming in injured. So Conor McGregor does the same thing. And they immediately try to put the narrative that he had a messed up ACL. And it's obvious why they did that. Because that's like impossible to fake. Then they could say it happened in the cage. A meniscus you could fake. There's NBA players, football players, they'll play a whole season with a messed up meniscus. And they know that it has the potential for long-term damage. It's not a good idea in this and that, but people still do it. Meniscus is so much easier to fake, and Dana White right away, I think it's an ACL. It looks like an ACL. Must be an ACL, but I'm not a doctor. Well, Dana, the doctor, has spoken. That doctor on YouTube that makes all those MMA UFC videos, he said, that's not an ACL. That doesn't look at all consistent with ACL stuff. That must be meniscus. But that's not what the UFC wants it to be. And all the broadcasters, all the commentators, everybody UFC was all in unison. They all had the same script. Like if it was the mainstream news at nighttime, they all were reading off the same script. When do you ever see that? Whether you're looking at a chat section, comment section, the dinner table, Thanksgiving, co-workers, when is everyone all in perfect harmony and unison like that with the corroborated stories? It was too perfect. It happened in the cage. It was the ACL. Don't you understand that if you are with the it happened in the cage and only in the cage narrative, you're full on falling for that UFC propaganda? That's not some free thinking, critical thinking, like your own independent. No, you are falling for the UFC propaganda because that's what's in their best interest, and they're trying to frame it that way. And there's a huge blow to them when that doctor was saying, nah, meniscus. And I don't know if there's any validity to it, but there's a channel on Twitter, MMA Maniac, that was saying, hey, there's going to be a statement coming out soon. It was, I think they said lateral meniscus tear or something like that. It's going to be coming out. He got an MRI. This is official. Look out for the statement. Meniscus is so much easier to hide. Like I said, people go through entire seasons like that. You don't think he could have thrown some cute little kicks backstage like that? You could get away with quite a bit when it's a meniscus, not an ACL. But with the meniscus, you can. And then Megan O'Leary was like, oh, yeah. The doctor, UFC official staff, they said it was a right internal knee injury. Yeah, what you think we thought it was? You think we thought it was his pinky? We know that he had a right internal knee injury, but he didn't stop by and see any doctors. He didn't talk to anybody. He didn't stop by to go pee-pee. He didn't stop by to take a photo. No high fives. He didn't get a Gatorade. He walked straight out the back, almost naked. He went all the way out the back with no chanclas on, probably getting spinas all up in his toes. It looks like he was doing a walk of shame. He went straight from the cage all the way out to the Escalade. He didn't want to see anybody, didn't want to talk to anybody. How do you know, Megan? Did you have a doctor come out and see him? He did a quick drive-by or what? He wasn't officially seen by anybody. And maybe he wanted to get out of there quick before a doctor could look at him. I don't know what they're able to tell. Maybe the doctor would be like, oh yeah, according to my observations, I could see that this was actually here for the last 4 months or something. I don't know. And maybe Conor doesn't know. He thought, I better get out of here. He probably got the hookup. He probably went to go see Tomas Aspinall's guy. He didn't want anybody to look at him. He didn't want anybody to touch him. And everybody was just saying the wrong things right away. You would think his mind would be in chaos after that devastation. But he limps out of there and he's like, well, hold on. Where's my phone? Okay. Oh, hey, everybody. Thanks, my fans. I just want you to know I wasn't hurt before the fight. I didn't have any kind of injuries before the fight. I felt amazing, 100% coming in here. There was nothing wrong with my leg. All right, sand. Okay, let's go to the hospital. It's too much, bro. And then his coach was coming out saying the same. Yeah, he wasn't hurt at all. Why do you have to say that? Could you imagine if when Anderson Silva's leg got broken, he was like, oh, okay, guys. Yeah, I'm sorry that my leg broke. And I just want you to know it was definitely, absolutely 100% not broken before. It's not normal. It's not normal for my leg to do this. It's not normal. This has never happened before, I promise. Or like Chris Weidman, when his leg broke. Hey, everybody, I just want you to know, this was totally not broken before the fight, dude. I wasn't doing any kind of Tony Ferguson type training with the telephone poles in my backyard. I wasn't trying to harden my shins and accidentally broke it and had to come out the copay. And my dad gave me a ride to the hospital. Not even close, dude. I'm just trying to paint a picture for you here. That's like the opposite of what happened. Could you imagine, on the other hand, if a dude won a fight and he comes out victorious, he just gets a knockout, gets his hand raised, and he's like, yeah, I just want everybody to know that I did not cheat. I didn't take any steroids. I swear, dude, I did not take any steroids on Thursday afternoon. That's just not my style, bro. Matter of fact, I'll pee into a cup if you want me to. I will urinate into a cup. Just give me a few days, cause I'm just not feeling thirsty, frankly. And I don't think anything will come out right now. Could you imagine? Like, it's just too much. You're making it worse for yourself. There's already certain things that people were thinking, and they're making it even worse. The last thing that people just can't get past, and I don't understand it. They're saying, why would he have done the kick that he did? It was idiotic. It made no sense. That was the perfect move for him to do in that type of situation. It serves two purposes. It is 100% what you might refer to as a Hail Mary, going out in a blaze of glory. He already knew his situation. He knew the inevitable anyway. He's like, I might as well try. Might as well do some funky Dustin Gaethje, Rolling Thunder kind of stuff. Get a laugh at it. Get a funny moment. Maybe I'll get it. If I do get it, that'd be once in a lifetime kind of stuff. It'll be hilarious. If not, whatever. Because if I don't do it, I'm going to lose anyway. Let's see what happens. And then also, B, that's the perfect way to mask the injury, get that adrenaline going, come out real quick, do something crazy, land in a certain way. That way they'll think it was the kick, the foot placement, the way that he landed, the weight he put on it. It was a weird angle. He's hurt. Imagine if he would have just come out like this, just start throwing blows, and then immediately when he gets any kind of resistance, just buckles. Oh, there's something wrong with him. This way he gets to play it off that he injured himself. That was the only option. That was the only possible thing he could have done. He had to do something dramatic like that in the situation that he was in. There are plenty of fighters in the UFC that are up there in age, that do drugs, that do steroids, and they're still doing their thing. The Conor McGregor that you saw was a Conor McGregor with pre-existing injuries. You better believe, because the UFC not wanting to let him out of the contract, that he's gonna be back and he's gonna fight again. And you're gonna watch.